Hey guys, welcome back. Another episode. And this week, it's funny. We just met like last weekend.
Yeah. Yep.
But we have Dusty Kae in the studio today. Just met you. Although I did see you one time in a little mastermind that we did over at First Colony. I think you came. Mm-hmm. I don't remember who was speaking.
It was Trevor and
Kale, the real business owners.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I don't think I met you there. I met you at the pickleball court. And this is what's so funny. Playing a pickleball tournament. Your fiance is playing too, right? You came to watch?
He just worked for First Colony.
Okay, so he's just part of the company.
Yeah.
And one of the people that also works for First Colony that knows you and Kyle and was playing, he turned to me and goes, she would be great to have on your podcast.
Yeah.
And I trust him enough where I was like, I literally stopped you as you were like walking away. I was like, hey, to be on my podcast.
Yeah. No,
and then here
perfect.
you are, and it's less than a week. So
Yep.
thank you for coming.
Yeah.
And
Happy
taking the time. This
Yeah,
is a
me.
woman that has almost 2 million followers across your platforms on YouTube and different platforms. So somebody that you can take a lot of value from if you wanted to grow your social media, but also somebody that's way into the self-development space and just wanting to probably women specifically, but anybody, just empower women, empower people to be the best version of yourself.
Yep.
And you have a cool story, and I'm excited to dive into it where you just like, you have these big ups and then you're like, things crash and then you figure a way to build it back up. And like we were talking about off camera before we hopped on, that's so relatable for so many people right now. So again, welcome to the studio.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here. Let's just start it right off and get into it. Like, when was your first maybe entrepreneurial endeavor? Do you remember?
Oh man. Yeah, probably back in, 2015. I was married at the time and needing to make money.
Okay.
And was working multiple jobs. I worked at Nordstrom at the time selling shoes.
Nice.
And I hate feet. And I was like, I don't want to be in this forever. What can I do to change this? And then I got pregnant with my son. And then when I came back, my boss, I asked her to come back to work. And she was like, well, I'm in the makeup department now if you want to come do makeup. And so I said, yeah, sure. So I started learning about makeup, became a makeup artist, and started doing clients myself, and then kind of broke off and started my own business, makeup business. And then
for weddings and
weddings and different things.
Dances or
but then my background, I wanted to be a filmmaker when I went to college and stuff. So I had a background in film and
cool.
And so I had a lot of people saying like, hey, you should do videos. So I started doing a couple of videos, and then that kind of transformed into YouTube and doing it with my kids and all that.
When you got into YouTube, were you just kind of like, oh, let's try it. Let's just throw it on there. And was it just kind of like, at least it'll be there for me? Or was it intentionally like, I want to make money?
No, I had no idea.
Really?
No idea. Yeah. It was just.
Did you know people that made money from YouTube?
Not yet.
It was just like, let's just throw it up and figure it out.
Yeah. Like I watched YouTube videos. I loved watching like my own makeup channels and stuff, learning techniques and stuff. So I always knew like there were people doing that, but I never thought that I would be a YouTuber or that it would turn into what it did. But yeah, when we threw up, like the first couple videos that I threw up of my daughter, because she wanted to do makeup videos. I mean, she was 4 or 5, just little. And I was just, they were just like, I'll have these forever, just put them up. They'll be fun to do. And then,
a video journal of what you did.
Yeah, exactly. And then a couple of years later, she wanted to start doing more. And then one of them just blew up.
So that was 2015. And you say a couple of years later, is that 2017?
Yep. So it was around 2017.
Any traction on the first ones or nothing?
Not really. I mean, just a little bit. We had, a couple hundred views, nothing big. But then she wanted to make a video with her cousin one day. And there was this little girls show called Shimmer and Shine. And they wanted to dress up as genies. And so I was like, yeah, we could do that. We're not doing anything today. And so I just set up the camera and just like let them do their thing and kind of helped them here and there. And then I edited the video because that's what I knew how to do from college and stuff, and just put together a simple edit and then threw it up on YouTube and then didn't really think much of it. And then a couple of days later, my daughter was like, Mom, our video's on the front of YouTube. And I was like, what are you talking about?
Way.
And so I go in and we had over 1 million views on it.
What?
And I was like, what in the world? Like, it was nuts.
And you didn't really go hard with like tags or description or thumbnail. I have no clue
about any of that.
No. And it just
this
blew
was back
up.
in the day of YouTube where, I mean, you didn't need that as much. It wasn't like that big of a deal. But we also were in a space that was very niche, you know, like there wasn't a lot of people. There was like one channel that was really, really similar to what we were doing. But that's it. And so, and there were no videos about like Shimmer and Shine and these popular kids TV shows. And so that was like a huge one that just took off because that show was blowing up at the time.
Yeah. And so it was good timing that way.
Yeah.
So anytime anybody searches Shimmer and Shine,
oh yeah,
you'll pop up.
Yeah,
and
she would be on the very first of the search.
I think it's interesting. Maybe, I mean, I don't know. My thought is I have 2 little girls, but one's 6. And I'm thinking if she's on YouTube and searching it and she says, oh, there's this 4-year-old and her cousin, I want to look like that. And they watch it because they're like, they see them in the video. It's brilliant. But and like, you didn't think anything of it.
No, not at all. And they were hilarious in it because they just fed off of each other and they're just it's
natural, raw.
The funniest little video. They're so fun to go back and watch now because they were just, nothing scripted, nothing. It was just raw and really fun. Yeah. So.
And that's what started everything.
Yeah. And so then I was just
so what went through your mind? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I remember exactly where I was. We were at Red Robin. It was around Christmas time, I think. And I saw that you can pull up your analytics and it was just, it kept going. And so I was like, okay, well, let's try another video. Let's see if we can kind of piggyback off of that. And so we did another one. And that one took off and kind of same thing. And so that's just how it started.
And
we just every week just kept putting out a video.
Subscribers just
started trickling in. And then it was about about a year later that it really blew up. We had, each video was doing really well like that. And it honestly, like our story is a little bit unique in that most channels don't do that. Most channels don't blow up like that and have crazy views like that. Like we were getting millions of views and we had maybe 100,000 subscribers, you know? I
know you've thought of this question before. Why?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It was, what are the thoughts that come in your mind? Obviously you don't know exactly.
Yeah.
But why do you think? And I think the reason I asked that is because somebody could take what you're just saying as like, hey, most people don't do this. And I totally agree. I think that's a niche like story.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But what have you learned through it that maybe you could share with people? It's like, but this is maybe why I think it.
Yeah. Well, I think at the time, we were very niche. And so it was something that nobody else was doing. And in that space, there were people that were doing like kid toy videos, but there weren't a lot of kids doing that. And so this was kids showing these characters and then we started getting into more of like the storytelling aspect of it and doing skits and things like that. So I think, after that we started seeing a lot of like other channels starting to do that. Copy and it. Kids, which is what you do. You copy what's working and started seeing a lot of other people doing Shimmer and Shine videos. And because when something takes off, you try to replicate it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we did that really well. We got really lucky that nobody else was really doing that at the time. Yeah. But then consistency, like when it took off, then it was capitalizing on what went right and then also building off of that. So Shimmer and Shine was popular, so we did lots of Shimmer and Shine videos. And then it was Frozen came out. And so it was like, hey, let's do Frozen videos. Then that took off. And then Incredibles was probably one of our biggest videos we ever did. So when Incredibles came out, we did Incredible videos. And those were in 2018, I think. And those just skyrocketed our channel.
Yeah.
To like, I think that...
That's so cool. So there's this element of they're creating the hype for you.
Yeah.
And then you piggyback off the hype with something unique and niche.
Yes. So I think, a lot of people say do trending things. That's what we did. We followed trends. We followed whether it was movies or songs or whatever. We were piggybacking on that. but in a kid space. And then we were just consistent and then tried to learn about like algorithms and descriptions and titles and everything like that to try to give our videos the best chance. And it worked. That's
awesome. How long till you were making money in YouTube? From that
the first month.
Video?
Yeah, the first video. That was the big thing.
Do you have to sign up to fill out anything, or is it just like based on views?
Yeah.
Like,
no, you do.
Do they notify you? Hey.
Yeah. So you basically, it's called Google AdSense. And so when you make a channel, it's just, it doesn't have anything until you start making enough where they have to pay you out for it. Then you just get an email that says, hey, you've got this money.
You're doing good.
Yeah. So you have to send in an application, send in all your tax information and stuff, and then they just pay you once a month.
Interesting. So they say, hey, the money's here. Come claim it.
Yep, pretty much.
And you can fill this stuff out.
Yeah. So for that first video, it was like, we made $500 off of this video. What?
It's cool.
What? Yeah. So it was
Dan Markham that was on this, one of the earlier, similar thing. He's like, he was actually on his first. He's like, we made $5.
Yeah,
and we could do this again.
Yeah, exactly.
And then he sees them as like little mini assets.
Yes,
that just churn.
Yep,
and it's so
I think,
true.
Cool, and they still
look at it.
do. It's like evergreen.
Yeah,
all that stuff still just keeps going. Cool about that space. Yeah, it's really neat.
And then we've kind of alluded to it. I don't even know the full story, but I know that at some point you got hacked.
Yeah. Yep.
Take us through that. That is painful.
Yeah.
So you're making several six figures at this point, right?
Really. Yep.
Really good money.
Really good money.
And then all of a sudden you wake up, or what? Take us through the story.
Yeah. So our channel was taking off. It was growing like crazy. Views were nuts, making great money. Had brand deals coming in left and right. Disney, Mattel, the biggest brands in the kid space you can think of. Everybody wanted our channel. And then, we trying to think of the exact timeline, but I was also going through a divorce at the time. And that was going on, but my ex, he was handling a lot of like the technical aspects of the business. And so one day, he handled like all of our emails, and one day, I went to log into our channel and it was just gone. I was like,
where is it?
Is this like a glitch? So we're part of like Facebook groups. So I messaged people and I'm like, hey, is anybody else dealing with this? And everyone's like, no. And so I'm like freaking out a little bit. And then when you get to a certain level in YouTube, they give you what's called a channel manager. Mm-hmm. And so, they're kind of worthless, honestly, but I reached out to my channel manager. Well, at least mine is. I haven't talked to him in forever, but I reached out to her and she was just like, oh no, everything looks fine on our end. You should be good. And I'm like, well, it's not fine on my end. My channel is literally gone. It says I have no videos, nothing. And so she's like, well, let me talk to my higher up. And then I didn't hear from her for like a week and my channel is gone. Like I want to post, I had brand deals coming up and I had to reach out to them and say, hey, like, I'm sorry, I don't know what's going on. And then again, nothing. I hear nothing from YouTube. And so finally I'm freaking out at this point and realizing like this isn't normal. And so I reached out to somebody or just on that Facebook group. I was just like, hey, can I get anybody's help? Because my channel manager is not helping. They're not willing to look at anything. I just keep getting generic replies back like, your channel's fine. I'm like, no, it's not. It's gone. I sent you a screenshot. Like, this is what I'm looking at. It is gone. And so finally, somebody that's really, really high up in the YouTube space, they have multiple channels. Like, they're one of the OGs of YouTube.
Crushing it.
Yeah, like they know the owner, like everybody that runs YouTube. And the dad reached out to me and said, hey, what's going on with your channel? Like, I'd like to help. And so he was so helpful and I told him everything. And he's like, well, let me have my guy look at it. Cause they have like the top technicians at YouTube. Yeah. And so sure enough, the guy looked at it and he was like, I have never seen this before. And he's like, you've been hacked. And on our end, it doesn't show that you have. But what they've done is they took your channel And then they try to take the AdSense money and change where it goes, but you can't see anything.
No way.
And so it was just like the
They didn't
smoke
even
and
know
mirror.
how they,
Yeah. And so they had never seen that hack before. It was brand new. And then after our video or our channel, it started happening to other channels. And so it took them like 2 months to even get the channel back. And in the meantime, you know, I had lost lots of brand deals. I was getting 0 AdSense money. I was about to go through a divorce.
Yeah.
And so I'm like freaking out because
great timing.
yeah, I have no income coming in. Like all of my eggs were in that basket. And so it was really, really stressful. And so finally they were able to get the channel back. But when I got it back, it was not the same. It was just my views plummeted. Anytime I would post a video, I would get a fraction of the views. Mm-hmm.
And no idea why to this day.
Nope. And it's never fully recovered, which is sad. But yeah. And then I just lost out on all of that. And then all the momentum that had built and was going just died. And
which is huge in business.
Yeah. And then what happened too at that same time, it just felt like a whirlwind of things that just kept going wrong is then a law came out called COPPA from the FTC for kids channels.
What's the FTC? I don't even know.
So it's what people have to go through to make sure that like television or movies are like following
guidelines
laws. Guidelines. Yep. Laws. And so they came out with a law that was supposed to protect children because there was a lot of people doing stuff on YouTube that was bad for kids and they were getting away with it. And then they were also they were saying that ads, like you can't target ads towards children. Just all sorts of different things. And so, you know, lawmakers came out with this law that changed the way that kids channels could make money. So literally instead of making the income we were making from ads, it got cut by 90%. So not only did I lose all of my views. Is that why when you
upload a video to YouTube, it says it's made for kids?
Yep.
That's why it's there.
That's why it's there.
Because they want to know and be tipped off. And then
because that changes the type of ads that they can put on your videos. And those ads make a fraction of what normal YouTubers can make. Yeah, it stinks. So went from making great money with kids content to making almost nothing. Wow. So, and it was really sad. A lot of really great people that were making family friendly content just had to stop doing YouTube because they can't make a living at it anymore.
Crazy.
So, yeah, it was nuts.
All at once.
Jeez.
Yep.
So yeah, now we still have views coming in, not near what it was, but then just lost like 90% of the revenue we were making.
And what year was this?
That happened in 2019.
2019.
Yeah. And then
4 years ago.
Everything with 2020, COVID, all of that. And just,
Right
so
after.
it's always just kind of stayed at the bottom level now. And it's gone. We've had a couple of like bursts of videos that'll weirdly take off and do well. But it's just never recovered.
So this is maybe a question that hopefully it's not a difficult one. It may, I don't know how deep, maybe you know right away, but I kind of feel like life happens for me, not to me.
Agreed.
And you agree. It's those times that we look at them, especially at the time. I mean, I go back in my life and things that are hard. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
And now it's a little bit more clear.
Mm-hmm.
And then you realize without that, XYZ wouldn't have happened.
Yep.
And then you're grateful for that in that moment.
Yeah.
What do you think the purpose of that was in your life? Like now you're fast forward, we're November 2023. What lessons did you need to learn back then that serve you now?
Yeah, that was probably one of the hardest things about it because I felt like a complete failure. Like I had gone from building this amazing thing, being able to provide for my family, and then to lose it all was really crushing. And honestly, something that made me stuck for a couple of years. Like it was really hard to get out of. And then I wondered, like, am I supposed to keep this channel? Am I supposed to do my own stuff? Am I like, I had no idea what my purpose was anymore.
Yeah.
But now I've recognized that, I started doing my own social media stuff and talking about the hardships of losing it all and talking about divorce and the things that I had gone through at that time, and started growing that platform and talking about self-help that I really think I was meant to do. I was meant to help people understand that we all go through stuff, like you said, and I don't believe that it happens by chance. I think that
I agree.
that taught me, I had put so much stock in that channel being what made me feel successful or worthy.
Yeah.
And I had to realize that wasn't it. It was me.
Yeah.
That I could create something again. I could do great things again, and that money comes and goes, jobs come and go, career, whatever it is. But I had to focus on, okay, what's next? What do I get to build next? What do I get to create next? And I actually get really bored of things easy. And so it's like, I had to really learn to look at the positive side of things. And, and I stayed stuck for a long time after my divorce and after all that happened, just feeling like the lowest of low. But there comes a time, I feel like, where you either choose to stay stuck and in that sadness, and I was over it. And so I just decided, I can either stay miserable or I can choose to build something else. And so
it's awesome.
So I chose to do that. And
one of my favorite books is The Obstacle is the Way. And it talks about what you just said. It's like it's not about the fact that adversity exists. We all know adversity exists in everybody's life. So there's going to be moments where divorce, or you lose your business, or you get paralyzed, or whatever. There's something that most people would say, when we would, in our perspective as mortals, we go, that's a tragedy.
Yeah.
But it's not about the moment that makes people successful, that where it happens. Mm-hmm. It's about the distance between here's the problem and here's the solution. Mm-hmm. And that gap is the time that it takes you to get there. And it talks about how, like, successful people will just shorten that gap.
Yeah.
They see it as life doesn't happen to me. Mm-hmm. It happens for me. But even a step further, I love this. Benjamin Hardy said this, it happens because of me.
Yeah. I like that.
And it's like, you can take that a couple different ways. It's like, because one, I believe that we're all like children of a God, that we're creators and we're here to learn and grow and create. That's because of you, and he's on your side. And two, it's because of you, because you choose to take action. Yeah. And that's what you did.
Yeah. And honestly, like, I can look back on moments of my life and I see God's hand in it every time. This one was probably one of the hardest times, because I had you pour your heart and soul into something, and to have it taken away from you is heartbreaking. And it really messes with your identity as a person. But when I was back, when we were super poor, and I was working 5 jobs before the YouTube stuff, like I remember thinking, like, I'm never going to get out of this. How am I going to get out of this? And I then was able to find shoes. Like I said, I hated feet. Yeah. But if I'd never gotten and done shoes, I never would have gotten to do makeup, and I never would have gotten to do my makeup business that led to YouTube, that led to everything that I built. Yeah. And so I really had to look at this experience and go, okay, for whatever reason, that part was over.
Something's being built here.
Absolutely. And now
I was meant to be here.
Yes. Yeah. I was meant to lose this, because I know that I'm meant to build something else now. And my time with that was over. And so now I'm shifting that to, and I don't have a clear picture of what that looks like yet, but I do have an idea of wanting to use social media platforms for good, and helping people to understand that, like, you fall and you can rebuild and rise again. Yeah. And so that's what I've really tried to focus on.
That's so cool. I love that. I just got to say, one, your story is amazing, and that the attitude that you have towards it, I think, is very admirable. And I think a lot of people can learn from that, because a lot of people are going through hard things period. But I'm part of a group and a mastermind called The Program. Mm-hmm. And we do a lot of things that are hard physically to break people down, mentally, spiritually. It's a very vulnerable, like we encourage people to be vulnerable and open up. And so I'm more on the coaching side now. And I just have to say, like, seeing you, listening to you, we haven't known each other very long. And I just have to say it on camera. Like, I feel like there is something special with you in leading women. You. And I can feel it. Like, you can feel it in this room. Like, for sure. It's like you have something special. And I think I know. I don't want to say I think. Like, it hit me as you're saying it. There's definitely a space of coaching for you, and maybe it's through that YouTube. Because there are so many women and men, but specifically for you, I think you're calling for sure. I'm feeling it, like women, empowering women, helping them in the entrepreneur space. Like, I just want to honor you for that. Like, the things that you've gone through, the choices you made to get here. I know that you're going to do bigger and bigger things because of it, for sure.
Thanks. That's what I'm hoping. I've definitely been trying to open that up, because I feel like that's what I'm supposed to do.
That's you. That's
and
your purpose.
Don't think, if I would have stayed comfortable in the YouTube space, I never would have done that. I never would have started doing that. And so I appreciate you saying that. Thank you.
No, just go for it. Like, I'm a supporter. Like, I'm all in whatever. Hey, if I can help in any way, like, you go for it, because people need it.
Yeah.
People need it for sure. Yeah. So, I know you've talked about, like, that's something that you're passionate about is, that self-development space. And like you just said, that's your purpose and passion. What do you see on the horizon? What do you see coming up for you now?
Yeah. Well, honestly, that's been such a hard thing for me to figure out, because after everything that happened, I've just been like, okay, but that's what I've resonated with. Whenever I share my stories of hardships that I've gone through, those are always the videos that do the best. Those are always the things that I put out social media wise that resonates with people the most. And so I've just felt more and more drawn to that, whether that's, talking about money issues, divorce, or anything like that. I've just felt like this connection to want to help people. And I don't know what that looks like totally yet. But I just so far have just started sharing my story, and it's crazy the amount of people that just connect with my story, because so many other people are going through their own stuff, and social media paints this picture of perfection. Right. And so I'm really just trying to break down that, like, we all have our stuff. And I love talking about, like, the vulnerable things that makes people uncomfortable, honestly. Those are some of my favorite things to talk about, because it's just, everybody has their stuff. Yeah. And so I want to talk about that more. I want to be able to be a space for people to feel comfortable, to feel like they can fall and they can choose to rise up. And so, I want to create more content on my pages. And then, we, as a family, are going to do that as well. We're going to be starting a new family YouTube channel that, how to blend families and what that looks like. And, we were talking a little bit before, like, my family situation is very unique in the sense that, like, I am very good friends with my ex-husband. His new wife is one of my very best friends. My soon-to-be husband, his ex is great, love her. Like, we all get along really, really well. And so just wanting to show people that you can take dark, sad things, hard things in life, and make them beautiful. Yeah. Like, that is one of my biggest things that I always try to instill in people, that even though you are going through the darkness, there is always light at the end of the tunnel.
Did you see that when you were going through the divorce? Obviously you didn't see Kyle, your fiance. Right. You didn't know, obviously, but could you imagine at that point your situation now? I guess my real question, did you see yourself loving your ex?
To a degree. So we actually had an incredible marriage therapist that helped us through our divorce as well. And when we told him that we were ready to choose to get divorced. He told us a story about his family and how next month his ex-wife and her new husband and her ex-husband were all going on a family vacation together. And my ex at the time, both of us were like, yeah, we can't picture that. That's that would be something. And he's like, it's absolutely possible. It's just whatever you choose to make of it. And that hit me in that moment so hard. And so I decided in that time, in that session of therapy, that, you know, I know that this is going to be a long, hard road and I can't see it right now, but that is the visualization that I'm going to have.
Yeah.
That's the kind of relationship that I want with him, that I want for my kids. And so that's what I believe. I believe you create whatever you put your intention on.
Yeah. So I'm going to step out on a limb here with what you're saying. Yeah. Everything is created in your mind first, right? Yep. Like Joe Dispenza talks about this, that there's a frequency that we call energy.
I love Joe. Yep.
So good. And that we have to live at that frequency if we want to be able to create things at a higher frequency. Yeah. And so for the listeners, I just thought this, when you said that, is that you had created it. Yep. You'd created what that felt like, what that looked like. Yeah. The vision. And then it was just like, okay, now go create it physically. Yeah. That applies to everything, guys. Like in divorce, that's amazing. Like you have to let go of ego. You have to let go of like all of yourself, the hurt, the pain. Yeah. For some people, guilt, shame, whatever. Yep.
All of it.
And just throw it all away. That's super difficult to be able to let that vision come in and not push it away. Yeah. And actually let it grow. Yeah. Because I think there's so many people that will have a vision of something, and it could be a positive. It could be, I have this vision to grow a business. Yeah. I have a vision to have a family. I have a vision of whatever. Yeah. But then they have this thought of self-doubt.
Oh, yeah.
Of like,
that's not possible.
I couldn't be that.
Yep.
I couldn't do that. Yeah. That's not possible. And all you're doing is pushing out the vision that would have been yours if you would have embraced it.
Yes. Yeah. And it was easy to think that too. I mean, there's lots of people that were like, yeah, okay. I mean, I started telling people, I mean, not like everybody, but like, you know, my best friend, like I was just like, no, this is what I picture. I know that one day we're all going to be good. We're all going to be happy and friends. And this is what I am envisioning. And she was just like, okay, Dust, we'll see. And then, you know, that's one of her favorite things. She's like, I love watching you create things. She's just like, you put your mind to something, and that's what I did. And it was just literally that. But it honestly, like, I would never have thought that was even possible without that therapist saying that. And then I was like, okay, I want that. Yeah. That's what I envision. I want him. I mean, that's the father of my kids. I will always care about him. Sure. I want him to be happy. I want him to succeed. And I want that for myself. And I want our family to still be a family. And luckily, I mean, and that's not to say it wasn't hard. It was very hard, very, very difficult. You know, especially the first couple of years, there's so many raw feelings. Like there were many times that we did not like each other at all. But it was just going back to that vision, going back to like, nope, I'm going to keep working towards that. I'm going to keep holding on to that, even when it doesn't feel like it could ever be possible. Yeah. And then here we are 5 years later, and it's exactly what we envisioned. And we want to go on a cruise as a family next year.
That's so cool.
So yeah.
Same thing's happening. That's so cool. Yeah. That happens, I think, with the success stories. Yeah. Like it happens all the time where they say, I envisioned it. Yep. I wrote myself a check, right? Yes. Like, just there's so many stories where that happens, but I think we have to catch it at the very beginning when it comes in. Yep. When the thought comes in, and to learn to let the ego and the pride and the shame and the guilt and the fear, whatever it may be that you're dealing with, to let that go. Yep. And just hold on. Yep. Hold on to it. And you did for a while, for years. Yeah. A wild ride. Yep. And I think that's powerful. Yeah. For people. I have one last question. This has been a great podcast. I enjoy your story. Like I said, I think it is just perfect for people to hear right now. Thanks. You get messages from people, I'm sure. Yep. All over. And you talk about, hey, I share vulnerable things, and I realize that people are going through a lot of things. Is there a common theme with what people are going through right now? Like you have almost 2 million followers. Mm-hmm. What are people struggling with right now?
Honestly, believing that they are able to create the life that they want. Every single problem boils down to, I mean, whether it's people messaging me about divorce or struggling financially or whatever it is, it's just a lack of people believing that there's more, believing that they can have a happily ever after. That's kind of what based my name on social media. It's Hey Queen Kae, and a lot of people are like, were you into pageants? Like, no, I want people to understand that you should be royalty of your own life. You should be the king and queen of your life. And I try to show people how I do that for my life. And it all begins with believing in yourself and believing that even when you go through hard things, that you can absolutely create something from that no matter what it is, that there's always hope, that there is always something that you can do with it if you just believe in yourself and try and visualize that and go for it. So, as a collective, I think that's most people, is just so many people just need to be told that they're enough. Yeah. And that's a big one, is that I don't do anything special. When I talk to people, and a lot of people are like, I can't believe you messaged back. And I'm like, no, it's about the one. It's about the one person that reaches out. It's about those small connections. Because, my videos can reach thousands, millions of people, but it's about the one that reaches out, that needs that thing, that needs the reminder that you're enough exactly how you are. Yeah. You just have to believe that and then go take whatever you want, create whatever you want. Because like you said, I believe this life is learning to be creators. And it starts with believing that you can.
I'm so glad that you have a loud voice on social media.
Thank you.
We need more people like you.
Thank you.
And that's the truth. That's one of my purposes in life, I feel like, is a similar way, in a different vein. Is I just want to help dudes become better dudes and women become better women. Yep. In a nutshell. But I love seeing success stories like yours and having good people with a loud mic.
Yeah, thank you.
So good. It's good. And I want you to win bigger and bigger in the future, because your story, your message, we need that. People need that. And I think that's also a big part of life, is serving others and helping others through it and encouraging others and giving people a vision, like your marriage counselor did for you. He gave you a vision, right? And you're giving people a vision when you respond back in your videos and everything. So
thank you so
much. Way to go.
I think the same of you. I think what you're doing is awesome.
Thank you.
So I'm excited to see you grow.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. This is something I enjoy for sure. And I know you do too. And thank you for being here today.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for coming and sharing your story. I know that people probably already know where to find you, but what's the best place for people to reach out to you if they want to reach you?
Yeah. On social media, on Instagram and TikTok, I'm Hey Queen Kae, Kae. And then, our kid family channel is The Day a Daily. That's my daughter's name. And then we have our new family channel coming up that's going to be called Forever Strong. And we're going to go into all sorts of fun stuff there. So
that's super
those
cool.
are the places you can find me.
That's awesome. Well, guys, if you felt like this was valuable for you, for your friends, for your family, please share it. Go send them a text, link this in there. If you liked it, go leave us a 5-star review. We would love that. And only 5 stars. I say that every time. Don't do 4, don't do 3, do 5.
5.
Otherwise, just forget I said anything. And again, just thank you for your voice. Thank you for putting good content out there and encouraging people to be a better version of themselves. So until next time, guys, thanks for listening this far. We'll see you in the next episode.